for this show are both 5.5.
Is the other one a different style?
I don't know if that's a specific thing. You know,
it's indicative to the style. Yes.
When we had the Oktoberfest beers, they were all within a couple of points of each other.
Yeah.
I mean, they went from 5.8 to 6.1.
So
most of them were 5.8.
So the 5.5 is like indicative to the style. It doesn't mean that they can't diverge 1 or 2 points either way, but the 5.5 is pretty much the median, from what I understand.
You'll get some American brewer who's on LSD who's going to try to do it, and he's going to make it like 15% alcohol.
No, but then you couldn't call it that.
But they do.
They would make it the Imperial Old Brun.
Yeah, right.
It'd be the overhopped Imperial Old Brun with fart notes.
With fart notes.
It does say on the bottle it's the key to heaven.
The key to heaven.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
I honestly would drink this till I get to heaven.
There you go. Nice beer. For my own taste, I preferred the first one, but I like them both extremely.
Okay, so for me, I prefer this one over the first one. The first one was a little pedestrian for me. I mean, I don't mean pedestrian like in a negative way. I just mean it seems like a little bit mild. I like the attack.
Okay.
On the senses, and this one definitely gives more of an attack.
It does, definitely.
And by attack, I mean like in reference to musical attack versus like
Killer Tomatoes.
And versus the Killer Tomatoes.
Right.
Which has nothing to do with this.
Which has nothing to do with this.
We don't even know why we brought it up.
Oh, I mean, I do.
Yeah, well.
I'll
the attack of the Killer Tomatoes. So, does it have something to do with the next beer?
I'm slinking away.
Mark is
slinking.
Mark has plans for our next beer, which while he's doing that, I'll give a little introduction on it. That one again is another beer made by the same brewery as the last one we just had, which is Petrus, and this is their aged pale, or pale ale, if you will. Belgian's beer, of course, because
Belgian.
I'm out of beer. I can't share. I can't
Belgian.
drink.
We can clink, but we can't drink.
The dregs.
They call this the crown jewel of the Petrus assortment of all their beers that they make. It's been elected several times as the best wood-aged pale ale in the world. And they say no wonder this beer has come to life in its pure form after a special request of Michael Jackson. Of course, those of you who know beer know Michael Jackson is not the entertainer, but rather the English Michael Jackson, who is the foremost
beer hunter
expert on beer. And he's the one who actually was the first person to literally put beer on the bookshelves in bookstores and people's homes with the World Guide to Beer that was published, I think, in 1977 or 78 for the first one. Wonderful book. And if you go on, if anybody's interested, if you go on Amazon and put in a look for World Guide to Beer, you can find used ones for like $4, and it's a phenomenal book. $3-4 hardcover. This one is a different style of beer, has significantly more alcohol than the other two. The others.
What beer is this?
This is the one I was just reading about, the Petrus Aged Pale Ale.
Oh, I'm sorry, you said Petrus.
Yeah.
All right.
Or Aged Pale, as they call it. But it's pale ale.
Here comes the pickles.
And it's the ABV on this is 7.3, so significantly higher. And Mark has decided to give us some pickles with this one.
Whoa.
These
are dill pickles, right?
Yeah, these are kosher dills.
Oh, that's
try
interesting.
with the pickle.
Wow, yeah, definitely try with the pickle.
Oh, I will.
Totally try with the
I
pickle.
want to get it on my palate first before I had the pickle. Dave has found a beer that he doesn't like.
We're going to find out.
Oh, I thought you already had a taste.
Oh, no. The aroma. I got to stay away from the aroma.
Oh,
I got to
okay.
taste it first, then do the pickle.
Hold your nose.
Then I'll give my observation on that. But
Dave has sipped the beer. Now he's reaching for the pickle.
He's got the pickle in his hand.
Mark, why do you think we ought to have a pickle with us?
Yeah, give us an explanation there, Mark.
Okay, so the vinegar from the pickle cuts the flavor. This beer is not really meant to be drank alone. I mean, like, this is a pairing beer. This is
Dave's having issues.
He's making funny faces, people. Funny faces.
I thought about bringing the actual food I would normally pair with this style of beer, this particular tartness of beer, which would be like a pickled fish. I definitely would have gone with
Like a
pickled herring.
Yeah.
But I didn't think Dave could handle it.
No, I can't do.
You can't do raw fish? Pickled fish?
I don't do a whole lot of fish. I'm farm country.
So I figured the pickled dill cucumber might be a nice cutting agent for.
I think it's great.
It's really good.
But I also could see Dave's point, because he's the meat and potatoes and watch Bonanza type of a guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm meat and potatoes and watch Bonanza type of guy, but I'm also like meat and potatoes and eating a raw squid.
So
A raw squid.
I got it.
Yeah. Pickled.
But honestly, eating this pickle with this beer actually did help
It does cut
the
it.
beer. It made it taste
That's a very good combination.
less sour in some strange way, but it's a really sour beer.
Because
I never would've thought of
honestly, the dill and the cucumber and very refreshing in flavor, but the vinegar complements the beer.
It does.
And you
want another pickle, Mark?
Yeah.
And by the way, for those, we've mentioned it before, but if you missed the other shows or when it was mentioned, Mark is our master pickler. He worked for how many year two up in New York?
I worked professionally 2 years. I went to school for 8 months to be able to obtain my status as a master pickler.
Hi, this is Danny Hoy, and you're listening to Key West Beer Tales, the sum of all beers.
So Danny, now that I've paired this with something, what else would you pair it with?
I don't know. I would do something a little more intense with this. Maybe not, not like a seafood dish like mussels, but maybe something more like with a tomato base or something a little bit more zippy.
I would say something gamey.
Oh, really? Okay.
I would go with like elk.
I've never had elk.
It's it tastes a lot like
I've
venison.
had venison.
Well, it tastes a lot like
more
venison,
gamey.
but it's a little bit like more of a step up from
It
venison.
needs something with more flavor, I think, to because if you eat something too bland with it, it's just you're not going to taste that or something that's like mild. You need something that's a little more intense, a little more flavorful.
This is not a foul.
Something to complement it.
And by foul, I mean like bird.
Yeah, not like the other fowl.
But like I would say something like a more gamey meat. Something with like a good hearty gravy. I would even say like wild boar.
Wild boar.
Yeah.
I was just.
Yeah.
I've never had
roll
that
that one
either. I've only had tame boar.
I've had both elk and wild boar.
Yeah. The wild boar. Yeah.
Where did you have
oxtail.
these things?
Oxtail would be fun. Yeah.
In London.
In London, okay.
Yeah, wild boar
yeah.
or oxtail, something like that. Like
I'd
an
like to
oxtail
try
soup.
the oxtail.
Oxtail soup, like fantastic. Wild boar is a little bit hard to get down here in Key West, which is weird because.
How about some iguana? There are lots of
the,
iguanas.
Here's the funny thing. Like you say, it is kind of hard to get. We're not going to have any iguana there.
Please no. I saw one run.
The thing
I'm like,
is,
ugh.
when I used to live in Miami, I used to go to this bar. It was called Chubby's Barbecued Grill, and I played in the Chubby's Barbecued band.
Chubby's,
yeah. It was a little hillbilly bar in the middle of this area, which is today known as Pinecrest.
Oh wow!
Right across the street from a place called the Falls.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was in this little warehouse area, and they had a whole bunch of country people who worked in the area, but that's where they would go after work. And I remember this was in 1995 or 95, and one of the guys, he was.
I was 17.
He was a hunter, and he would go out and for Thanksgiving he came back with a wild boar and a turkey that he shot in the Everglades.
Yeah.
And he said, these are really good ones because, all they do is these particular ones, all they did is eat nuts and stuff, and they were exceptional.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, Danny, I remember now, and not only London, it was the Sherlock Holmes pub.
Really?
Yeah, that's where it was.
I love Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, because of the name. But
I used to
I
read,
started thinking about
voraciously
that.
read
I
Sherlock
think
Holmes.
we should do a show on the Sherlock Holmes pub in London.
The other
fabulous
side,
pub.
the other side of that coin. The first time I had wild boar was at Jack the Ripper's pub.
No, really?
You know, they recently
That's outstanding.
Somebody's come out with
Yes.
identification on
Yeah,
who
yeah.
he actually was. He was Polish.
Wait, who was Polish?
Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
Was Polish?
He was of Polish.
The Ripper's
descent.
not a Polish sounding name.
Well, it would be
well,
Perdus. I don't know what rip.
Ripper. I don't know.
I know what the means, or how to say the.
Well, it was in England, so his
Yeah,
name was Jack the
Chicoum.
Ripper.
Yeah, so
Oh,
Jack the Ripper.
I only
We're
know
learning today
Yachicoum.
was-
Not to be confused with Jack Roper from Three's Company.
Three's Company.
Three's Company, too.
Whatever.
Mr. Roper.
Well, it was Chrissy and Janet and
Jack.
Jack. And
Jack.
You know-
Jack.
Also,
Jack.
so a very funny kind of like trivia question here is that some of the locals used to call me Jim,
Jim?
who was the bartender at the Regal Beagle.
Oh, they called you Jim?
Yeah, because
That's funny.
apparently I reminded them of Jim from the
Locals,
Regal Beagle.
locals to
And-
where? Locals to here? Lee's locals? Key West locals?
Yeah, Laura and
Really?
yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
and that crowd. They used to call me Jim.
Jim.
Laura Ingalls and
No,
No,
not
not
Laura.
that Laura. No. It's Laura Z.
I'm going to have to contact my lawyer about this episode.
Laura
too,
Z.
because we just roped in Laura Ingalls.
It kind of reminds me of what was
She-
the name of the guy
she's-
with the
Deader than a
with,
doornail.
with the
But she's got great
the
books.
Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom. What was his name?
Lauren Green?
No,
Marlon Perkins.
He was on Bonanza. Marlon
Perkins.
Marlon Perkins.
Because he always had this guy. They'd be out and they'd be going, oh, well, today
That
we're
was
in the
Shaq.
Everglades and we're going to send Jim in to
Jim.
wrestle with
Oh,
the
Jim.
alligator.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they always sent Jim in to
He was
do
the fall
dirty
guy.
work.
He
Yeah.
was the fall guy.
He was probably like 6'4", 6'5", maybe 250, solid muscle. Always had a big smile on his face.
And, Marlon would pat him on the back. He'd say, okay, Jim, go wrestle that alligator. And run. And he would, hang his head and he'd go, okay. And he would go do it. And he would do it. He was a good guy.
Oh, yeah, because
Yeah.
that's how you quantify good guys.
Yeah.
And how reticent they are to wrestle an
Wrestle
alligator.
an alligator.
Or it might be a wild boar.
Or it might
You
be
know,
a wild boar.
yeah.
Just grab
Might
it by
be
the
a
tail.
tiger.
Which really goes good with this beer, by the way.
Put these, very thin cotton gloves on and wrestle this wild boar.
I wonder
Which goes really great with this Belgian beer. Belgian.
Let me give you my take on this beer.
Yeah, let's get Dave's take on it.
And
Let's actually get somebody's take on it.
Dave Senior,
we
please.
so we can finish with a good note, because I got to tell you,
a
I'm
good
having
note.
difficulty with this beer.
He's
and the
being
pickle is the
punished
only
by the
thing
beer.
that got me through.
There's more
I
pickle.
knew. I knew.
Hold on.
I knew.
Hold on.
So-
We got to hear this.
Yeah, the aroma, I can't do it again. And the taste, I can only handle with the pickle. It's going down better as I taste it, but I wanted to go first because I knew it would go around the room and we'd get better results from that. But not everybody likes every beer.
No, you don't. That's,
So-
yeah.
By the way, what is the alcohol, the ABV on this one?
7.3.
Okay, you said it was higher, but I don't think you mentioned.
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So that's my
okay.
take on the beer, and
Okay.
so I'll turn it over to
Just give a little notes on the color.
very, very light in my opinion.
Much lighter than
Much lighter than the other two
Yeah,
beers
okay.
that we had. That's for sure.
two
It's
were
It's not an old brown,
If
then.
someone was to ask you what color is beer, it's that color. Just
it's beer color.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
beer
definitely beer
color.
color.
Golden.
Golden,
Yeah.
golden beer color.
It's effervescence.
It looks nice. I was having trouble with the aroma and the taste, and then the pickle came, and I can finish this beer now.
Thank you, Pickles. Thank you, Pickles.
So I wanted to pair this. I really got to say this. I know Dave Senior's flavor profile pretty well. I worked for them for over a year now, and I definitely have to say that I know that he couldn't get through this without a pairing. And
Yeah, thank you for thinking of that.
yeah, and when I did the research and was like, oh yeah, I had that before, and I was like, no, that's not happening. I was like, I really got to say that, like, you know, like the pickled fish is definitely like